my baby's gonna poop. I gotta keep it from getting gross. And I caught it in my hand. And so then I have a kestrel in one hand, poop in the other, and I just look around, I'm like, I need somebody to help me now. What do I do with this? I can't fix this. Wonder is the word that I would use, that most people think about when they think of birds of prey. We're talking about eagles, owls, hawks, falcons. Those are all the types of birds that people think of. They think of them as powerful, as mysterious, as graceful, and all of those things are true. So we have a lot of different birds that live at the WildCenter, and a lot of different birds of prey, or raptors is another word. I like raptors to use when I'm talking about them. Makes me feel cool. But the birds of prey we have come to us from a variety of ways. The majority of our educational birds come to us after being injured or orphaned in the wild somehow. They've been treated by a wildlife rehabilitator, which is kind of like a doctor for wild animals. And then for whatever reason, they're deemed non-releasable. They wouldn't be able to take care of themselves on their own. So that's where the WildCenter steps in, and we offer those animals their forever home, where they can live the rest of their lives without worrying about predators or worrying about finding food or about getting hurt again. We provide all of that for them. Now, a couple of birds we have were actually bred by people, so bred under human care, either for falconry, which is the sport of hunting with a bird of prey, or specifically for education purposes. That way, those birds are raised with people from day one, and so they're really, really comfortable with them. They don't ever learn that fear of people that wild birds of prey would. So falconry is the sport and the human tradition of hunting with a bird of prey. It's something that has been practiced in cultures across the globe for thousands of years. When people think about falconry, the question I get the most is, does the bird get whatever they're hunting and then bring it back to you, almost like a Labrador retriever? And it's not quite the same as hunting with a hunting dog. Instead, you're inserting yourself more into the natural circle of life. Especially here, we're mostly hunting with birds that you can find in New York or in the Adirondacks. And so really, you're just acting as the bird's hunting partner. And so we work with our birds and we train them to be really, really comfortable around us. We use food at first to get them used to us and get them used to coming to us. And then once we have them out flying around, they learn that in a falconry relationship, the person actually acts more like kind of the traditional hunting dog. The birds are out looking because they know they're the ones that are going to get that prey animal, but we're the ones that actually flush up that game for them. So we're out tromping through the woods. The birds are just keeping an eye out, waiting for a mouse or a rabbit, whatever we flush up. And then that's when they get to do what they've evolved to do. So training one of the hunting birds, it depends a little bit on the bird's background. If it was raised by people, usually it's really comfortable around people and it can go really, really quickly. So like Vega, the kestrel I have now, she was bred by a falconer for falconry specifically. And so she's been around people since the day she hatched out of her egg. So with her, it's really getting her used to taking food from an individual person. And then all you do is slowly increase the distance that that food is from the bird. So Vega's normally sitting on a perch and I can just go up and hand her a piece of food. That's the first step. And then I just move my hand back 6 inches so that she has to lean over to grab it. And then she has to hop to it. And once she's hopping to the glove, hopping is very close to flying. And from there, you have it done. You know, if that bird's flying to you, it's going to start making that association. I come to you, I get food. Then we transition to being outside with them, showing them game. And as soon as they realize that you are the one that makes food appear from the ground underneath them, that's it. They've got the game. You don't need to do too much more after that because you've already gotten them comfortable coming to you and being around you in food. So they let you walk right up to them after they've caught something, which is pretty incredible. So we do a lot of the training inside at first because it's a little bit more of a controlled environment. And if your bird flies away somewhere and you're inside a building, you can go get them. But eventually you get to the day where you do your first free flight outside. And it's an exhilarating day. I am afraid of heights, and for me it's that feeling of looking over the edge of a diving board. I'm excited and I want to do it, but I'm also a little bit terrified. So I think with falconry, the best way I can describe the bond between a bird and their partner is trust. It's trust on my end because when we're out hunting with our birds, we're flying them without a leash. That means they could go anywhere in the world, and we're trusting that we've built this relationship with this bird, that they're gonna wanna come back to us, whether we find game or not. For the bird, I think it's also trust. It's trust that we're going to find food for them. It's trust that we're going to keep them safe. And it's trust that we're going to help them get a tasty snack at the end of the day. Whether they catch it or we give it to them, they're still gonna get some food.
That means that, yes, that means that her embryos have implanted.
Well, it could mean that, right?
It could mean that.
We
it
don't
also
necessarily know that because they have that funny
pseudo-pregnancy.
Pseudo-pregnancy, but this is one data point that says...
Right. Even if she has a pseudo-pregnancy, her progesterone will show the same, whether she's pregnant or it's a pseudo-pregnancy.
But something's happening.
But you can't tell. Something's happening. This spike right there.
Okay.
So she's predicting somewhere between January 2nd and January 13th.
Oh my goodness.
So
we better get ready.
right? Well, we're gonna have to try and get her isolated from the boys and get a nest box and all that other stuff we talked about.
Part of working with the birds of prey, whether they're falconry birds or education birds, we try to expose them to as many different things as possible. So we bring them into our staff offices, we walk them around the museum, we bring them outside. And there was this one time I was trying to get Vega used to being in the office setting. So I brought her into where our animal care and education offices are. And I imagine it's like having children. You get to know your kids really well and you pick up on things that other people wouldn't. And I saw that Vega's feathers on her legs puffed up just a little bit. And what I'm going to say I did is I mommy handed her because we were in an office that has carpet. So I saw her leg feathers puff up. I knew it was coming next. Nobody else would. So she's standing on the glove. I reach out with my other hand and I catch her mutes, is what we call it. That's the kind of all-in-one package that describes birds' poop, their urine, and a bunch of other stuff. And I just instinctively was like, my baby's gonna poop. I gotta keep it from getting gross. And I caught it in my hand. And so then I have a kestrel in one hand, poop in the other, and I just look around, I'm like, I need somebody to help me now. What do I do with this? I can't fix this. I think the thing that I really like about falconry is I'm really lucky that I'm able to work with these animals every day through the WildCenter and the work I do here, and I practice falconry through my work at the WildCenter. But it's something that anybody can do. It's permitted, so you do need to check in with your state, but I know falconers who are bankers. I know falconers who are teachers, who are mechanics. It's not something that you need a degree or experience to do. You just have to go through the proper channels, but it's a great way for a lot of people to connect with nature and to put themselves in that natural cycle. I love all of the animals that we have here at the WildCenter. I spend more time with them than I do with my husband or my dog at home. A lot of the animals we have here, I've seen from the day we get them, oftentimes throughout their life, and I'm there with them when they pass on. So the bond that we have with these animals is incredible for all of them, but there are also certain animals, I call them my heart animals, that they're animals that just for some reason you fit with in a way that you can't manufacture. They're animals that they stick with you longer. Everything that happens, it's the best way I can describe it is like having a child, and you're more proud of those animals' accomplishments. If they have a failure or something goes wrong, you feel that more deeply. And it does extend to all of the animals, but certain animals, it feels more. Vega, for me, is one of my heart animals. She's a bird that I will always, always remember.
Hey, Leah. Yeah. Dr. Nate wants to come down and do an ultrasound on Scarlett so we can pinpoint better when she's going to deliver.
Do you know when he wants to come?
The Thursday after Thanksgiving, whatever that day is, and he's probably going to be here first thing in the morning, like between 8 and 8:30.
Okay, I'm going to put it in my schedule right now.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. All right.